So at the end of the day, the internet has been calling possibly the Greatest Alchemist trash for a while, and the best I've seen is Isekai trash, which ain't really that much of a upgraded compliment, but better than just straight up trash, I suppose. I have loved this show. I think it's been highly undervalued. I won't deny that its final episode, production wise, was close to abysmal. I mean, it was very little animation for any of the action. But at the end of the day, I've always found the action to be the least enjoyable part of the show to begin with. Actually, the slice of life, the characterization, and the kind of civilization simulator has always been the most engaging things. And as much as, the Western side of the English speaking community has shit talked this show, I think I got this comment last week, and it said something along the lines that the big reason people talk down on the show is that it didn't have a gimmick. That anime fans are so used to gimmicks like, oh my god, this character can return by death, this character turned into a slime. So when you have a show that's legitimately just characters good with alchemy, and here's these really nice character bonds being born, people call it boring or trash. And I couldn't agree more with that statement. If you ask me what they could have done better with this show, production. Pacing though, characterization, I wouldn't change a damn thing. I hope we see a season 2. I think there's a lot to explore, but this was a very satisfying stopping point in terms of, Goddess Nolan and everything. But yeah, I won't deny the fact this was probably one of the weakest episodes out of the batch. And sure, leaving off on one of the weaker episodes, all things considered, of a season probably kills for some people. But as someone who's been nothing but enthusiastic about this show, I leave this season with a grin on my face. I just wish the production was better. But hey, as I always say, if you didn't crash and burn like something like the New Gate, you're doing better than most. Of course, if you want to see my full thoughts on these episodes, support my work, we do got the Patreon, full and cut live reactions available exclusively over there if you're so interested. So, I want to talk about why I like Takumi as a character so much, because I think it really encapsulates why this show was so good for me. His first big moment, because I've seen some people say that, a lot of people probably didn't get to the second half of the show where it really picked up. I disagree. The first half of the show was already picked up for me. The second half is better, I do agree, but the first half was awesome. I think too many people got so tunnel vision that this was a generic harem. But in fact, there was only one character that legitimately has built any sort of romantic progress or attraction. Everyone else felt familiar. It's very similar, in my opinion, to that of Slime, where you could see a couple of characters and argue, are they trying to build something for Rimuru? But for the most part, everyone else, while yes, infatuated in terms of the idea of Rimuru, it's not like everyone's just there for Rimuru's, harem, right? And I think similar to this show. Of course, we know our elven girl is, the only one who's really building anything. You can kind of make an argument for Maria in terms of her shipping, but I think she's more of just like an ultimate fangirl shipper. It's just funny, no matter how you look at it. But Takumi's first big moment that impressed me was after he was like, because he gets thrown into the world, he's kind of like fish out of water, this village helps him. Before he leaves, he builds them like protection. Because hey, I'm Isekai hero. While I'm here, they're safe, but I'm about to leave. They're gonna be kind of shit out of luck, so let's build them some walls, some protection, set them up so they'll be okay without my existence. That immediately set him apart from other run-of-the-mill isekai MCs. Self-insert, here's my hero fantasy, I care about no one but myself. The second big thing, and it was something that I continuously came back to, and it was the slavery angle. Slavery in anime. I'm kind of in the middle of it. When it's there and it's unjustifiable, I'm like, whatever, it's weird, but anime's weird to begin with. Half the shit we see is weird. But the idea that he would try to not do it, like his initial response when saying, hey, you need someone who won't stab you in the back, here's slavery. He's like, I'm good. I come from a world where that shit ain't normal, so I don't want to get accustomed to it. Immediate different opinion than you normally see with these characters. And even when he accepted, he's like, you guys sure you want this? And then he would try to bring it up and they'd say, how dare you? And he's like, okay, if you guys really like it, if it's not bad to you, whatever. And every time they touch back on it to the point where he got rid of it, and had them understand from his point of view that they can be more than this master-servant relationship. That was all really well done development. And it didn't feel like, oh, here's a noble hero who's just imposing his own beliefs from his own world into a society that's maybe not ready for those conversations. It took him a bit to get there, but also in the meantime, the contracts in question were more of a job contract than anything. The bad versions of that were at the other kingdom. That type of stuff actually was really well done, and because of that, you actually got connected to these characters. A spider girl wasn't just there to be spider waifu number 4. She was just an adorable little sister energy. You can't tell me with a straight face her riding on a warhorse, sitting up as a spider isn't the funniest and cutest shit you've seen in a while. They did a great job. And the fact that they baited us with the last girl who got introduced, like, oh, another warrior for the harem. No, she's just a servant. We need someone who could do the dishes, cook for us, clean for us, general housekeeping duties. The show didn't actually go the way you would expect. Opinions. Some people find slice of life stuff boring. But to me, this felt more similar to a lot of the kind of civilization stuff of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. The kind of magic stuff of a Seventh Prince, or even level 2 super cheat powers with how they did their kind of like familiar bonds there. That's what this show, like, there's different types of isekai. Zenshu is my personal favorite of this season. That's more of your typical like adventure, but done really, really well. You have shows like Headhunted Salaryman, which is more on the economic side, which I thought was fantastic. People called that boring too, but hey, not enough titties and asses, I suppose. And a show like this, while there is that traditional hero fantasy element, like, hey, this goddess is, I did send you back a year, if you get stronger, you can save the world. There is that element, but they don't present it as, here's our boy going to slay the next dragon or this. He's protecting his town in this example here, in this episode. But at the end of the day, it's all about him building these connections and these economic kind of partners and connections in general. And yeah, the other kingdom needs to be put down. Those other heroes need to be put down. But in the meantime, the fact that when a previous hero from another kingdom is going to be under his care, he has to ask the lord in question that, hey, is it cool if I do this because it could be seen as like an act of war? They actually are pretty intelligent with how they went about things. The worst thing that I can say about this show is production-wise, it was mid as hell. An episode like this, close to abysmal. The art was fine, I'll say that. The art, for the most part, was fine. It's just, yeah, most of the action was still shot, camera fade, still shot, move the camera to the left. But the action has never really been what caught my attention to begin with. I would have preferred it to be better, but, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, with how hellish anime productions are in general, I'm surprised more shows aren't worse than they are. And honestly, to give it a little bit of props, not saying the production deserves a whole lot, but, in this case, they avoided god-awful 3D for basic 2D drawings, and there was some pretty complex designs that they had in that crowd, so I liked it. People call it shit, but whatever, man. This show, it didn't have a gimmick, so people called it boring. Anime fans, I suppose. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. Do you want a season 2? Because I certainly do. Let me know. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Kanagi, Miguel Frances, Romanus, Dark Lord Dashi, Kim Andre Olsen, Dreadseed, Jacob Winslow, Conrad Sosin, Sovereign, Tobias Reinhold, and we also have Jonas Welling. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.